Do you think a far lefty can win a national election in this day and age? A presidential election. Do you think that
A
could
far
happen?
left, you mean like AOC?
Yes. I'm just whether it's what you said about Newsom, whether it's an AOC. I mean, do you think somebody like that can win a general election for the presidency of the United States in this day and age? I don't think so.
I don't think so either. To me, the Democratic Party is a ghost brand. You know what a ghost brand is? It's like Sears or,
Okay.
General Electric. It's still a company, Abercrombie and Fitch, but they've really fallen on hard times.
Yeah.
But they've been around for a long time. So there is value in, it's an asset, right? Because there are still people who know of the company, and if you could have somebody take it over, who's not sentimental about that company and relaunch it, rebrand it, but it would have to be somebody who is unapologetic about calling them out. People have lost faith in the Democratic Party for very good reasons.
Therefore, let's tear off the bandage immediately. Is it possible for a far-left candidate like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez to win the U.S. presidential election at this time? To be honest, no. Bill Maher, who has no difficulty taking a swipe to the left or right, isn't buying it either. The problem is that there is more than one candidate involved. It concerns the Democratic Party as a whole. Maher referred to it as a ghost brand. It's more than just a nasty insult, that it's a perfect description. Think of old businesses such as General Electric, Abercrombie, and Sears. Although they are still nominally in existence, their significance and power have long since faded. Although the name is well known, no one is rushing to the store. That's precisely how the Democratic Party feels at the moment. Maher's point was also very evident. There are very good reasons why people no longer trust the Democrats. No one is being inspired by them. They aren't seeing outside of themselves. In essence, they are coasting on fumes in the hopes that their brand name will sustain them. Here's the worst part, though. If someone entered and changed the entire thing, cut ties with the sentimental, that someone could alter the course of events if they spoke to Americans with genuine affection and without their typical haughtiness. Let's face it, though, that won't be happening anytime soon. Because Democrats are currently trapped in what Maher refers to as the bubble. Hollywood, late-night TV, and MSNBC panels are examples of the bubble, where everyone nods in agreement and gives each other high fives for using the same cliched talking points.
Right now, I got to get to my next guest. Oh, he's an actor, a comedian, a producer, a writer, and host of the hit HBO political talk show, Real Time with Bill Maher. The one and only Bill Maher is with me right now. What's going on, Big Time? How are you, sir? How's everything?
I'm not an actor.
Well,
Don't ever call me an actor.
I apologize.
I'm the opposite of an actor, like you.
There we go.
Actors are avoiding the truth and playing parts. We're real and telling what's real.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate I correct myself. Thank you for the reminder.
For instance, Jimmy Kimmel, when asked about him by Stephen A. Smith, Maher didn't mince words. Maher flatly stated that he was mistaken after Kimmel made fun of MAGA and twisted the story in his favor. Why? Because Kimmel is trapped in that bubble. Just like a lot of other members of the liberal elite, they haughtily ignore half of the nation as if they don't exist. And for that reason, the late-night shows are failing. A show where 95% of the guests repeat the same political themes is not one that anyone wants to see. Why is there so much uncertainty? Where is the actual argument?
He insulted MAGA. That's different. And he didn't lie. He said what he thought was true, which I disagreed with. I mean, I gave my spiel about it on the show last week, and, it was basically saying something very different than what Jimmy said. I don't think he got it right. I think he's, quite frankly, in his liberal bubble, which is why, let's be real, those shows are struggling, is because they, I think, arrogantly dismiss half the country. They don't speak to them, let alone for them.
And Maher is unique in this regard. Even if you disagree with him, at least he doesn't hesitate to criticize his own side. Yes, he will attack conservatives, but he will also attack the hypocrisy of the left. Because of this, people either adore him or find him intolerable. This is when things start to get interesting. Maher raises the issue of political violence. He raises an important point that merits reiteration that it doesn't matter how offensive something is or how much you disagree with someone. You don't shoot individuals, for a period. No justifications. No. Yes, but there are no exclusions. In that instance, Ma isn't merely being humorous or sardonic. He takes things very seriously. To be honest, he is correct. If we normalize political violence, debate, and argument, America will not be able to endure. Yelling is all well and good, but pulling a trigger is going too far and we can't afford to go back.
They're all over the map politically. They just want you to hurt like I do. And that's where that was. Jimmy had a different take. He's allowed to have a different take. He's allowed to be wrong. So, some of this stuff gets put out there and then it becomes like the narrative. He lied. He didn't lie. His take was just wrong in my view. And he didn't insult the person that they were worried about getting insulted. And on that score, yes, I've been always clear about what I think about it. There's no quarter for people who forgive any kind of political violence. Once you start with, yeah.
Let's now discuss Trump. Ma wasn't shocked when Stephen A. questioned him about Trump's response to Kimmel's scandal. He claimed that Trump always moves in that direction at a speed of 100 miles per hour. This is where the twist lies. In fact, Ma made a point that most people wouldn't anticipate. Trump isn't an actor, he claimed. Trump is unvarnished, in contrast to politicians who act, feign, and frequently hide their true emotions. You get exactly what you see. And because of his genuineness, Trump's followers never waver in their love for him. They are aware that he is not acting. Despite his crazy remarks, he is genuine.
How did you feel about Trump's reaction to Jimmy Kimmel being pulled off the air? And his reaction, when Charlie Kirk got assassinated, the first words that came out of Trump's mouth is that it was the left. And obviously when Jimmy Kimmel said what he said, Trump wanted him pulled off the air, even though it was the FCC chairman that really went about the business of making threats along those lines. What were your thoughts about all of that?
Unsurprised. Come on, Donald Trump's been on the stage a long time. You always know he's going to go 100 miles an hour in that direction. He is an actor who commits to the part. Man, does he talk about actors, as long as we're on that.
That's right.
Contrast that with left-leaning politicians who are always attempting to project the ideal image, who never stop caving in, and who polish every statement until it sounds false. Even if Trump is unpredictable, you can be sure that he believes what he says. That has political clout. Here's the delicious irony, though. These days, the left is yelling about free speech. Do you recall the time when they were advocating for censorship? When did they request that stories they didn't like be filtered on social media? When they were firing journalists, comedians, and even regular people for having the audacity to speak out problematic. Yeah, those days weren't so long time ago. However, they're suddenly rediscovering their love for free speech now that they don't control the narrative. It's funny how that operates. Ma chastises them for it. Now that it's handy, he doesn't allow them get away with feigning to be First Amendment defenders. And to be honest, people are tired of hypocrisy like that.
But I would ask you this, when you look at Trump and some of the things that he says, what are you more concerned about in this day and age, Bill? Is it how the right feeds off of what he says, or is it how the left reacts to what he says? What has you more concerned at this particular moment in time as we just purview the landscape, look at our country and the state of affairs that's going on around here?
Well, I love it that you always, like what you were just saying before I came on about free speech, and you said, well, let's be honest, the left sort of courted this a little bit because they weren't exactly champions of free speech. So you always have to look at that. I know that the woke people don't like it that I do that.
Let's return to the Democrats now. Ma is correct when he claims that they are a ghost brand. Although the celebration appears vibrant on the outside, it is empty and lifeless within. No compelling message, no obvious leader, and no policies that break the clutter, just cliched catchphrases and rehashed talking points.
To me, the Democratic Party is a ghost brand. You know what a ghost brand is? It's like Sears or,
Okay.
General Electric. It's still a company, Abercrombie and Fitch, but they've really fallen on hard times.
Yeah.
But they've been around for a long time. So there is value it's an asset, right? Because there are still people who know of the company, and if you could have somebody take it over, who's not sentimental about that company and, relaunch it, rebrand it. But it would have to be somebody who is unapologetic about calling them out. People have lost faith in the Democratic Party for very good reasons.
How about their supposed stars? For instance, an OC. She does indeed control social media. She is well liked among Generation Z. However, let's face it, national elections are not won by popularity on TikTok. Voter turnout is not correlated with loud voices. You must establish a connection with the country's center. The far left lacks programs that appeal to regular Americans, which is what you need. Ma admits it. Perhaps a far left candidate would be elected if 80% of Gen Z voters suddenly cast ballots that like AOC could have a shot. But is that doable? Not even close. It's not a wise choice. It's not a successful tactic. This is where Maher once again becomes brutally honest. Democrats must distance themselves from the fringe if they hope to win. While adhering to AOC-style politics may inspire activists, most people find it offensive. Purity tests have no place in politics. It has to do with coalitions. Building bridges, not echo chambers, is the goal. The Democrats are currently acting in the exact opposite way. Let's be honest. They are headed straight for extinction if they don't alter their direction.
Do you think a far lefty can win a national election in this day and age? A presidential election. Do you think that could happen?
Far left, you mean like AOC?
Yes. I'm just whether it's what you said about Newsom, whether it's an AOC. I mean, do you think somebody like that can win a general election for the presidency of the United States in this day and age? I don't think so.
I don't think so either. I mean, that's, anything is possible, and possibly it would excite a certain group of people who have not voted. And what if 80% of Gen Z voted? Could then a Mondami-like candidate win? I guess so, but I'm not expecting that to happen, and I don't think it's the smart bet for the Democrats.
You also have faith in California Governor Gavin Newsom, did you not?
I'd love him as a candidate. Yes, I mean, you're right. He's not exactly what I'm describing now. Right. I think he'd be a great candidate. He has shown in recent months the ability also to move to the center. He would have to do it a lot more. But as a candidate, he looks great. Great speaker, very forceful. Can be mean, which is really important, and he can do it. He also has the backing, or certainly should, of where the energy is in the Democratic Party, the far left, because he's been out front on a lot of very liberal issues, which I think is great. Gay marriage here in California and stuff like that, pollution, all sorts of stuff that we believe in. But, he does have a long trail to lose the baggage of governor of the most liberal state in the country. I tell him face to face, I've said it on the show, he went too far left for me often.